You must.
Might as well just sit and listen to us talk.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
Self-care. Yeah, my favorite subject.
yeah. So I thought that this would be a perfect time to talk about self-care. And I actually did a whole new PDF for kinetic divination, which Donna is a facilitator of, and she's the first facilitator in the UK, which is super exciting. And first and only at this point, first and only facilitator of kinetic divination in the UK. And so I created this new PDF that is the self-care incentive, and it goes into testing in your body. I'm sorry, this is my cat. Whenever I do these interviews, she wants to get in her cupboard. She has a cupboard that she goes in, and it has bags in there. So she's in heaven when she goes in there. So I'm not. Yeah.
That's
So if you
self-care.
hear banging, that is Minx. Yes. So in kinetic divination, in this new PDF, it goes through how to muscle test in your body where your body needs the most self-care, how your body is actually triggered by this pandemic right now, what's going on. And it also goes into the 5 bodies. Is it your physical body that needs the self-care? Is it your mental? Is it your emotional body? Is it your energetic body? And I combine those to make the 5th intuitive body. And it's checking in also with your inner child. Is it your inner child that really does need that self-care right now? Needs to maybe have a nap, or maybe have a bath. And that bath water acting as that womb energy. So that new PDF is available and will be available for download with these videos. And I know, Donna, that you're still in the energetic alignment group community, and that's where all these videos will be, as well as my YouTube channel.
Amazing.
Yeah, so other than kinetic divination, Donna does a lot of other beautiful modalities. So tell us about your zone of genius and what you're bringing to the world, especially in times like these.
For me, I think it's the ability to recognize other people's patterns as I have recognized my own patterns. So I've noticed where people tend to be pushing more than they ever have done because they're like striving more than they ever have done. And actually that just comes so far away from self-care than is needed. And for me, I think that's really important in what I facilitate, is being able to allow more trust and more surrender and just more flow and more ease, rather than like this whole sort of like action doing mindset. Because it's not just about changing the mindset, it's so much more than that. And for me, the facilitating yoga is this absolutely key point of being able to notice where people are anxious and what's triggering the anxiety, and whether it's even like, is it even like their present anxiety, or is it something that someone else set off, or this global consciousness. So for me, it's about really getting people back into their physical body, and then we can go a bit deeper with the practice on a practical physical level, and then an emotional level, and then this beautiful more blissful wisdom, where you're really connected to your truth. And then there is no place for fear, and there is no place for anxiety, and there is only place for self-love and self-worth. And that's like, I really teach yoga as a form of therapy. Like, it's rather than this whole like everyone has to look a certain way and stand a certain way and be a certain way. It's very much not just about that. It's about your entirety of yourself, your being, everything about who you are, where you're at.
Yeah, beautiful. Yeah. And when you're facilitating yoga and using it as that almost therapy or treatment to combine that whole being, what other parts of your zone of genius do you bring into that experience for your students and clients?
just being able, because I'm an empath, so I can really feel into people's energy, and I can feel like where they're like resisting, or they might be not be able to get into a certain, if it's a physical practice, they might not be able to get into a certain pose because they've got some sort of underlying trauma that is stopping their hips from opening, for example, and this is why. So just being able to have that real deep connection with them, and sort of educating them and allowing them to feel safe and open so they can release that, and then they might be able to get into the pose more easier for releasing. So it's that sort of like layered. I'm quite good at being able to sort of notice why people aren't being able to sort of get into certain position. It's not, everyone's bodies are not the same. We'll have so many different aspects of ourselves that stop us from feeling that freedom that we're all looking for. So,
yeah, 100%. Yeah, very true. And that's awesome. And are you doing now facilitating yoga online?
I am, yeah. Finally did it.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah. Perfect timing, because we were right before the pandemic, a few months before the pandemic, we were talking about, are you going to take this online? Because that would be awesome. And then
that's forced me to do
it. Yeah. Cool. So what do you have your top 3 picks for self-care? What are your go-to for implementing self-care, either with your own self, or what things do you kind of fall back to and that you kind of prescribe or suggest to your clients and students?
Always grounding. Like if we're feeling all over the place in our mind, it's anxieties, we're just racing around in our head, always grounding. Ground, come back to root chakra all the time. It's just going to draw you right back down. So I always go to child's pose. It's like getting in touch with my child, my inner safety, getting down on the mat, even if it's 5 minutes. I just ground and I feel really safe there in that space. You know, there's a reason why these are called certain names, right? And you know, there's always reasons why, because this pose facilitates that emotion for us and enables us to feel that safety. So even if it's just doing 5 minutes of a pose, child's pose, if you're feeling all over the place, you just want to ground, going outside, get my feet dirty in the earth, and if it's safe for you guys to do so, grounding and just going out, standing like this beautiful mounting posture, you know, just freeing, it's grounding, it's strengthening, it will just bring you back to present. Breath, always this breath awareness of, is the breath in the chest, or is the breath in the belly? Is the breath anywhere else? Is it held in the head? Is it like stuck anywhere in the body? Can you see if you can just dissipate the breath throughout the rest of your body? So just breath awareness, and that is just noticing how your breath is held, and if it's restrictive in any way, and see if you can soften the breath. And then when you can soften your breath, and you can soften the body, and everything else sort of eases as well. And I always really think that acknowledgement, just acknowledging that actually we're not okay, and it's okay not to be okay. You know, it's okay to allow ourselves to feel negative emotions. It's okay to allow ourselves to just like cry if we need to. You know, it's okay just to be like, I'm angry, I'm frustrated, I'm just going to let it out. But not identifying with it that it is you. And you're just acknowledging it, that okay, I feel a certain way, and then you come from a place of more empowerment, then more self-love. You know? I was saying about acknowledging and accepting the emotion.
And I was going to say, that's coming back to the first part of kinetic divination, is honoring and acknowledging that the emotions are feedback, and following those emotions and allowing them to come up, and stepping back and giving them space and acknowledging them, because they are an integral part of our being. We are multidimensional. And when we use them as feedback, they become a source of power for us. And you talking about being an empath, that's sort of what started the journey of kinetic divination. Is I was so sick of people telling me, oh, you're so sensitive, stop being so sensitive. And I thought, you know what, there must be, every part of us is powerful. There's a reason why we have these aspects of ourselves. these characteristics or these aspects that are deep within us. So I started thinking, how can this be a superpower instead be looked at as a fault? And I really don't think that there are any faults within us. So I started really asking those questions, but how can this be a superpower? And it sort of unraveled in a really cool, unique way into this kind of awakening experience into kinetic divination, but using your emotions as feedback. And that, I love the child's pose and the mountain pose, and just allowing that child to come up to the surface and allowing that emotion to come up. And then that mountain pose, breathing in to maybe your heart, to doing the alpha breath. And it's just, yeah, it's gorgeous.
I think it's powerful because a lot of the reasons why, you know, we do the certain poses is to feel a certain way. So even if you're feeling like a negative emotion, like doing a pose that can either allow you to embrace that, like you say, or choosing a pose that will make you feel the opposite, so you can direct your attention to a completely different emotion. So like goddess pose, you know, it's like empowering. It's like your fire's coming out. It's going to embrace it. You know, the rage is coming out. It's fine. Or like if you're feeling like you're low and you're lethargic, then use something like the breath of fire, which is like this, you know, bringing out the fire within, you know, embracing that ignition, like turning the ignition on, and then you're embracing yourself fully.
Yes. And one other thing that you sort of touched on a little bit was there is a lot of stuff going on around us, and just tapping in and seeing if that is actually, if we're reacting to that, if that's ours. If that is actually ours that we're reacting to. And oftentimes if we say, if that's not mine, I release it and return it to origin, then, you know, we feel lighter and it just releases. I had a client the other day who I said, you know, how much of your mother is in your body? And she just went, whoa. She thought about it, and we used the whiteboard technique, and she said 70%.
Wow.
So when we release that, she's like, my body feels completely different. And I said, well, yeah, it would, because you're not used to your body. You're used to another energy being in your body. You're not used to all of that room and expansion. And it's amazing when we release the other stuff of other people. And then we don't really, when stuff happens, we get to choose. Do I want to react to that, or do I want to maybe take another approach? And this is hopefully people with this self-care incentive, people can have these tools and can pick and choose and go, do I want to react to that, or do I want to sit in mountain pose, or sit in the child pose, or, you know, call Donna up and go, hey, I need you to teach me what these are, because, you know, I'm not a yoga person. I'm surprised that I'm not. I did gymnastics and ballet when I was younger. That would have been the obvious transition to go into something like yoga. Maybe I need to call Donna up and say, like, fit me into a class here, because if you guys like me and don't know about yoga, then, you know, click on the information for Donna below. I'm going to have a bio for you, Donna, and your picture and information and website and stuff. So these guys can click and contact you and just say, hey, like, can you teach me even these 3 techniques could literally change your life. Literally could change your life. When we change the way we react to our reality, which is just the past momentum working itself out, and we can change something and we can choose something different. So these 3 poses could be the catalyst for you to change your whole reality. And I know it sounds like so dramatic for me to say this, but it's true. It's really true.
We can have the most weird intuitive moments that come up. I mean, I certainly have, a lot of my students have, when they've like done like a melting heart pose or something. They're opening this heart, and their grief's coming out of them, and like an old past memory is coming up and out, and then releasing it through opening the heart space, for example. and then just allowing that to ride through you, and then like inviting in that like, oh, it's out of me now, and I can just trust and surrender a bit more into the pose. So it's just embracing whatever emotion you come up that comes up through a pose, and then you can always embody a certain emotion. So say if you want to embody confidence, then you would go for something like, I don't know, be playful and do like a crow pose. It's like playful and fun, and like it's okay to fall over, and it's like being playful with it and bringing out the childhood aspects of ourselves, and bringing those up. So,
beautiful. Yeah. Aw, thank you so much. This has been so fun to check in and talk about self-care with you and your zone of genius. I love it, love it, love it. I think I just got another idea. I think that we could facilitate a program using yoga and kinetic divination to talk about getting in tune with the body and maybe releasing some pent-up energy from the body. I think that would be really cool. So we'll talk about that. So you guys look out for that in the future. There's always stuff being created, especially at this time when there is such a change in energy with the global consciousness. I think it's a really powerful time to create something new. So just ask what is being created. That's one of the most powerful questions that I can offer you at this time. What is this creating? What is available to me that I can choose that may be different? And Donna, do you have any other words of encouragement for anybody watching at this time?
Just know that if you feel like you're going through a difficult time, then these really are lessons for us to learn and to grow. Try not to identify that it's like a negative and that the world's on top of you, because it's really not. Actually, this is about waking up in reality, and what can you learn from this? Like Gillian says, what can you learn from this? How can you actually use this to create so much more in your life and turn it right round? So that's what I would say, is that there's no real differentiating between right and wrong, or good and bad, or negative and positive. It's just allowing yourself to embrace what you're feeling in the entirety. Okay.
Yeah. Awesome. And reminder to everyone to still muscle test and feel into your body and check and see, like even the loop test, like how strong you are versus weak. Checking in that your energy is flowing the right way. You can do that so easily. Just sitting in gratitude for 20 or 30 seconds and then checking in with your levels and testing where you're strong, where you're weak, your yes and your no, and checking that your energy is flowing the right way. I've had a few people now that their energy was flowing backwards, and it is really simple. If you are testing that my energy is flowing the right way and you test strong, awesome. If you say my energy is flowing the right way and you test weak, then you just cross your hands on your K27 and tap, and then retest that. And that's a really powerful technique to make sure that your energy is flowing the way that it's supposed to be flowing, so that you do react and you get to choose how you react to the situations and things that are going on around you. And you can shift that fear. So Donna, hang on and I'll say goodbye to you, and we'll say goodbye to everybody watching, and stay tuned for the next episode for the self-care incentive. I want to thank you, Donna, so much for coming on and sharing your expertise. And I hope that you get some people reaching out to you and asking for your help with yoga and tuning into their body and their heart and their inner goddess.
Thank you.